Chase to the sundown. We on the chase to the sun up. What's up? Leading the line when we run up. Chasing, chasing, chasing. Every day we chasing, chasing, chasing. No time to be wasted. Look, taking the lead, we don't follow. We need it now, not tomorrow. Don't care what they say, not changing the pace. Working too hard to be last in the race. So much time in the day, and it ain't none to waste. Working this hard to be one of the greats. Whatever it takes, put that on the plate. Life is a gamble, we raising the stakes. Moving the bar up so high. Been on our grind, for life. Bringing the light, you just so bright. We shining, platinum sound cool, but we trying to reach diamond. Hard work pays off, that's perfect timing. Changing the world with this rhyming, it's priceless. We got the nicest by putting the time in. Can't be the greatest, I'm not even trying. What now? We on the chase to the sundown. We on the chase to the sun up. What's up? Leading the line when we run up. Chasing, chasing, chasing. Every day we chasing, chasing, chasing. No time to be wasted. What now? We on the chase to the sun up. What's up? Leading the line when we run up. What now? We on the chase to the sun up. What's up? Leading the line when we run up.
Track of time, I apologize, mama. Go ahead and eat without me. I'm still on the grind.
I ain't touching home base by dinner time. All I can see is the finish line. Started, I gotta finish mine. It's get it time, anytime, hella long. I've been in line, I didn't mind it all. Wake and bake, won't take a break at all. That's on my word, my boss. Naming lights, gon' have to pay me twice or pay me no mind, and I don't mind it all. My grind is grit, I am my job to inspire. I'm right behind Goat, a line that's been fired by a chain for a time. I ain't get hired, second week kicked in, I probably won't get tired. Kevin Gates or Kevin Bacon, only 6 degrees of separation between me and the next level of elevation. Perseverance, the art of dedication. What now? We on the chase to the sundown. We on the chase to the sun up. What's up? Leading the line when we run up. Chasing, chasing, chasing. Every day we chasing, chasing, chasing. No time to be wasted.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome in. Nick, Nolander, I see you legends up in the chat. Happy Father's Day, guys. Nolander, thinking of you, my dude. Well, welcome in, folks. It's Father's Day. We're winding down Father's Day here now. And what better way to end it than with a 70-minute endurance race here on the Assetto Corsa Competizione PS5 version with the Infinite Racing League. It's our GT3 Summer Series Round 4. We're at the midway point of our season. And, well, things are getting a little bit interesting. That much I can definitely say. We have some standings up in front of us here at the moment. We'll talk about that here in a little bit and at points throughout the race. How many drivers are on the grid? Hard to say yet. We still have about 3 minutes of free practice left. So we are running a little bit late tonight, but that was just, well, me being a little slow tonight. So welcome in, everybody. We appreciate you all. We hope you're all doing very well. This is a family-friendly broadcast here this evening, so please do let the whole family sit down and enjoy with you amazing fathers out there. So, Snetterton. We had an America's run at the beginning of the season. We started off at Laguna Seca. That was an interesting race. And then we went to Coda. That was a beauty. Then we flew overseas and we hit the United Kingdom for race 3 last weekend. That was done at Donington Park. Tough little racetrack, but not bad. So, what do? Well, we send the drivers a few miles away and we throw them on Snetterton. So, this track, much more difficult than Donington. It's a very flat racetrack, and with that being said, there's not a whole lot of banking or undulation in the racetrack, and that could actually prove to be more difficult for a race car driver than the undulation and bank cornering around these road circuit tracks. This is going to be a difficult racetrack here tonight. It's going to be interesting to see how all the drivers handle it. So far, it looks like the weather is holding up pretty good here. It's fairly sunny conditions, but we can see the flags in the background there up against pit wall and where all the garages are waving pretty good. So wind is definitely going to play a factor into the race today. And on such a flat, wide open racetrack, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of havoc that's going to wreak when dirty air starts to play a factor. So 3 rounds in the books here, and it's been a pretty interesting series so far. Needless to say, it definitely, the Infinite Racing League definitely and its drivers do not disappoint. So all these registrations are done via SimGrid, so www.simgrid.com. You head over there, you sign up for a SimGrid account, and then you search Infinite Racing League and follow that league. And then from there you can always find the signups for each week's events that they have going on. Signups are done through SimGrid here for the IRL, and then from there you can also get Discord invite and everything else that you need to get involved at the Infinite Racing League. So we're just taking a little peek at our information here. Okay. All right, so I don't have PSN names on this list, so it's going to be hard for me to figure out who is who here. Some of the guys I can figure out, but some of them I cannot. So the standings, at the top of the standings, is Critical Basilico with 63 points, and then Bloxham and Johnny B are tied with 62 points, and then there's a little gap to 4th place, and then 5th, 6th, and 7th are only separated by 3 points. 2 drivers tied with 50 points. We have 1 driver with 48 points, and the 1 driver sitting right underneath with 47 points. And we get down to the 9, 10, 11, and 12 spots in the standings. Again, separated by minuscule amounts, points. So I think what we'll do is we'll bring this up for you folks at home to see at some point. We'll work a little streamer magic while we're live here. Oops. Alright, so we'll let that do its little magic there, and then we'll throw that up into the stream for everybody. Alright, so let's get that up in here right now for everybody. Oh, what happened there? I do not know what happened there. Didn't work the way I wanted it to, though, that's for sure. Alright. Don't mind me, chat, we're just wasting time here. We're actually under qualifying here already, so I'll flip you over to the big screen. I do apologize, just a momento. Forgot to put this in before I started the stream, so I find myself doing it right now. That works. Alright, so let's flip you over to the big screen here. Alright, so we're officially underway here in qualifying, so we're going to get you guys to the big screen. It looks like we got 16 drivers here on track, so let's jump on and see what is going down here. So the drivers have just kind of completed their out laps at this point. They're now just starting their first official set of hot laps, so we'll sit on board with Darmel. Darmel wasn't here last week. He is back this week, and back with, of course, that Ferrari, that beautiful purple and a pink, sorry, blue and pink Ferrari here of him and Fluka that they drive around the tracks here so far in this series. Very beautiful looking cars, by the way. So we'll see how he handles it here today. Alright, this is what we were trying to get to you guys here. There we go. Alright, so that is how the standings are kind of looking here as we head into this racing round. So this is officially after 3 rounds of racing here in the GT3 Summer Series, and we got the real names up in the driver's list, of course, which is why I can't quite differentiate who driver is who, because I don't know that detailed of information like these guys do. But you can see how tight the standings are here as we enter into the middle part of this season. So I mean, every position, every point, every mistake, every slip up, every pit error, I mean, it all comes down to every little thing for these drivers. So they really do need to keep it right and tight. So we got Darmel's on a red lap here, so that's an invalid lap. Wrong button. Let's head down to his teammate Fluka here right now in 15th place, just starting his first official fired hot lap here. So we only got 17 cars on the track, so this should be a fairly tidy organized race, I think, at race start, with only having 17 of a possible 30 cars available to be on the grid here today. Now, it is Father's Day in North America, so we're not surprised to see a smaller grid here today. We saw much of the same thing in an earlier broadcast that we did over at Monza on GT7 as well. So about half the field made it in for the scheduled race, just due to, of course, the day it is here. So much of the same thing here. All the dads out there spending time with their loved ones and getting pampered a little bit, you know. Hey, dads can always take a day of pampering. Alright, so Fluka's coming around. It's a 149.7 the first time around for him, and that's good enough for 5th place here currently. Butler Racing is in 6th place here. He's back in that Lamborghini. He's got a little different scheme on it here today. We see a little white, green, and blue tinge on that. It's well, it's a pretty simple little design on that Lamborghini here today. Currently sitting 6th. We got Rigo back, and he's in that BWT Mercedes livery here again. We love to see it. Critico Basilico, our current points leader by one measly little point here. Currently sitting in 2nd place. And Bloxham and Johnny B sitting in 3rd and 1st place here so far in qualifying. All 3 of these drivers fighting for that top spot in the top of the championship points right now as well. So Bloxham here in 2nd place overall in the standings, and Johnny B tied with Bloxham for 2nd in the overall standings as well, just 1 point behind our current championship points leader, Critico. So Johnny B here sitting in 1st place. We got Tenacious Evil here in 12th place. And new face, I think, here in the series this round. So be interesting to see what he's got for the field. We have lots of returning drivers. We got GLR Seal back here this week. We got Tango 2 back this week. We've got Semestri in the Porsche back this week. We got Arcano back in the Porsche this week. We've got Rigo in that Mercedes. We got Make It Rain, the beautiful mastermind behind that amazing intro video we see at the beginning of the streams here for the Infinite Racing League, sitting here in McLaren in 6th place currently. We got Ripe Jazz. So a little bit of information about Ripe Jazz. Ripe Jazz was running the Honda NSX in the series for the first 3 races. He's opted to make a car change. So he gave up a 5th place overall position in the standings, had to give up all of his points in order to switch his car. So down 3 rounds, he's only now has 5 rounds to try and charge his way back up the standings in a brand new car as well. So he has gone from that Honda NSX over into the McLaren here. So a little bit of breaking news, I guess, so to speak, coming in from the Infinite Racing League here concerning our GT3 Summer Series, as Ripe Jazz has made a car change and had to give up all his championship earned points in that Honda NSX in order to change into the McLaren. So, you know, strategy is key in these championships, and these drivers have to pick their car at the beginning of the season, and they are expected to stick with that car. So, this driver wanted to switch the cars, and of course, there was a not a consequence, but a catch in order to do so. So he has a long climb ahead of him here over the next 5 weeks. Fluka here in 5th place. He's missed a week. Butler Racing here is still sitting in 6th. We got Rigo sitting in 9th. We got Critico now up into 2nd place here. Sorry, still in 2nd place. And what is that lap? 47.705, which was actually last time around. This one's red, so it's not going to count. Much of the same thing here for Bloxham. Scary Guy back here this week as well. Tenacious Evil. Let's see what he's got here. Let's stick with Tenacious for a little bit. And let's see what he's got around the track now. He doesn't actually have a hot lap validated yet, so we'll see what he puts in. We've got Aaron coming in with that thumbs up as well on the stream. Happy Father's Day, my guy. Hope you and yours are well. And how we all doing over there on the YouTube over at IRL as well. Darmel coming in with a fire. We got Here We Go, says Rigo. Have a good race. Good luck. Have fun, says Darmel. And let's go Marcio, I think that says, if I'm not mistaken. I'm a little bit shabby, a little bit rusty when it comes down to the old Spanish and Portuguese languages, so correct me if I'm wrong, please do. Alright, I'm interested to see what Tenacious can do. Again, he's got another invalid lap here, so struggling a little bit here in qualifying. He's still got 6 minutes, but with the lap times being almost 2 minutes around the racetrack here, that doesn't really allow for a lot of time to get one in. So he needs to get a safe lap in and then try to work on improving it from there. Let's see what we got here. 150.75 from Arcano. That puts him 11th right now. We got Make It Rain sitting in 8th with a 49 flat. A 51.5 for Ripe Jazz in that McLaren. We've got a rig back on the track here with the Lexus as well, so love to see it opting not to qualify, or maybe on a qualifying ban. I'm not sure what the case is there. Sometimes the drivers just choose not to qualify and start at the back of the pack. Darmel up into P4 here with a 48.455, so Darmel definitely finding some pace underneath this Ferrari here today at Snetterton, and teammate right in behind him there as well with a 48.607, so both these Ferraris looking pretty quick around the racetrack here. Butler Racing still looking solid too in 6th place here in the Lamborghini. So I guess the bigger question is, are the MRs going to be stronger than the front engine rear wheel drive cars here today? It kind of does seem to be the case so far here in qualifying, as the top half of the field is very, very mid-engine heavy. We got Rigo in 9th place. We've got Critico is now in 3rd place, so a little bit of swapping between the leaders here right now. We've got Bloxham in 2nd, and Johnny B now is sitting in pole position. Scary Guy still got that car up on the jacks there. We got Johnny B in pole, Tenacious up into 14th here. So we do have 17 cars on the grid, so he's in 14th, so not quite at the back of the grid. But again, hasn't been able to put in a full, proper, juicy qualifying lap for himself yet either. He keeps making mistakes or breaking track limits here, and in qualifying that will invalidate your lap. So qualifying, you really got to keep it right and tight because, well, the race officials are watching closely. Tango 2 sitting here in 10th. We got Semestri up into 7th here in the Porsche. Got another Porsche here with Arcano. He's dropped a spot. He's down into 12th place. Make It Rain still holding strong in 8th. Ripe Jazz up into 11th from 14th. Rick Big getting a little bit wide there. I think he's coming out for a one-shot hot lap maybe. We got Darmel still sitting in 4th. His teammate right in behind in 5th. Butler Racing, and looks like he's pretty satisfied there. He's just going to bring it into pit lane and wait for race start, it looks like. Rigo still on track. Critico still on track. And you can see without... you can see, I mean, very flat. It's a very, very flat racing surface here at Snetterton. As we continue to go around this racetrack here today, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about, how flat this is. I mean, there is not a lot of help for these cars getting around these corners, with the exception of the racing groove that's built into it. Really, there's not a lot of banking. There's not a lot of help to help get these cars to rotate. So I mean, this track really is a driver skill track. I mean, you have to be 150% on point, 110% of the way through this race, because one minor little lapse in judgment and it really could be game over for the drivers around this racetrack. I mean, elevation changes on Snetterton here, I doubt I doubt this very much. It's got to be less than 20 meters from highest to lowest point. I mean, it's just a big, flat, wide open racetrack here, and that's going to cause trouble, especially when you're on cold tires or if the track starts to cool down and it gets slippery on these guys and gals on the racetrack. It's going to provide for an interesting race. So the mandates for this race, it is one stop mandatory here tonight in the 70-minute endurance race here. So for 1 hour and 10 minutes, the drivers at some point will have to make one stop, and it is a mandatory tire stop. So fuel is not mandatory, it is optional, but it is required tire stop here this week in round 4 at Snetterton. And this is probably going to be one of the more difficult races of the season here, I think, as well. So the drivers that are here are going to capitalize on good points. That'll help move them up into the standings, but it's not going to be an easy night of racing here for these drivers. I'm rooting for Adrena in the Lamborghini. Oh, you're funny. I hope you're doing well, Adrena. Alright, we're just checking on the streams. We're just making sure everything's kicking good here. Everything looks to be running good now. We've had a little bit of success here over the last little while, so that's fantastic. Knock on wood, that is. Alright, we're moving, we're cruising, and we're grooving. So, YouTube has dropped a beautiful little bomb for organizations with YouTube channels that are maybe trying to work towards bigger ambitions and bigger goals. So, with that being said, we need 500 subscribers over here at the Infinite Racing League YouTube. We are currently sitting at 151 subscribers over here. If you are not following the Infinite Racing League YouTube and you're sitting here viewing on the GT45 gaming channels, if you wouldn't mind heading over to YouTube and just type in at IRL Sim Racing, it'll pop right on up. Throw the guys a sub, would you? Let's try to get these guys to 500 subscribers, and let's get the league getting a little bit of extra perks. Hitting that beautiful mark here set by YouTube most recently. So YouTube making life a little simpler for YouTube creators here as well. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. So if you wouldn't mind, and then if you are new here and you enjoy the content, definitely smash that subscription and turn on all those live notifications. You'll be notified every time that the Infinite Racing League goes live for one of these amazing events here. Whether it be the North American Series or the European Series, there is a UK division happening here as well at Infinite Racing League. So if you are over there in the East, the European side of racing, Infinite Racing League has something for you on PS5 ACC. So, like I said, head on over to www.simgrid.com, sign up for a SimGrid account, search IRL or Infinite Racing League, follow that league, and that is how the registration happens for all these races here. So, yeah, get involved, get on track. Don't have to be a pro. You can be a complete noob and rookie, and you can still come in here. You can still race, and you can still have a lot of fun with a really great racing community. And seat time is everything you need when you're learning how to sim race, folks. So don't be shy. League racing is where it's at. It is an organized sporting event, just like it is in real life with your kids' soccer or your hockey or your football or your baseball or whatever it is that your kids play. It's an organized sport that has rules, and it provides for a much more cleaner, friendlier, sociable environment as well. Hey Jason, good evening and happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to you too, my dude. I hope you're doing fantastic, my guy. So, qualifying's over. That is gonna be it. I mean, we are locked, stocked, and ready to go here. Alright, so after a 15 minutes of qualifying. It is Johnny B sitting on pole position with MX Bloxham starting in second place. It's going to be Critico Basilico in the NSX in third. It will be Darmel in the Ferrari in fourth, and teammate right behind in the other Ferrari in fifth place. Butler Racing for Team Lamborghini will be in sixth. Semestri in the Porsche will be seventh. Make It Rain for McLaren will be in eighth place. Tango 24 BMW will be in ninth. Regal for Mercedes in 10th place. Rig Pig comes in for Team Lexus in 11th. Ripe Jazz for McLaren in 12th. Arcano Marcio for Porsche in 13th position. We have Tenacious in 14th position for Audi. We have GLR Seal for Team BMW here in 15th. Scary Guy for you in the Audi here in 16th. And Captain Noor for McLaren here in 17th as well. So 17 drivers lock in here tonight. And with that being said, that's going to put us in on Tango 2 tonight here, the BMW driver. When we start this race here tonight, we sit in the middle of the pack. It just gives us a little bit better view of the whole racing pack coming in through the first few corners on the race start. Because, well, you just never know what's going to happen in the start of well, action-packed race here. This set of course of competition. Big grids means lots of cars. Lots of cars means lots of people making little mistakes, and that's what makes for some interesting racing here at the Infinite Racing League. 17 drivers here tonight, though. Again, it is Father's Day, so we're not too surprised to see a smaller sized grid here today. So I hope all the fathers out there are enjoying their day, man. The day is for all the dads. Alright, we are just checking on everything again. I cannot help but be so anal about it. Well, we've had so many problems in the past couple of weeks with the stream here, so we do appreciate everybody hanging out and tuning in. Alright. I got to find where all of that stuff is done now. There it is. Alright. Got PD coming in with the like and the share on the stream. How are we doing, my guy? Happy Father's Day to you as well. Hope you and yours are doing fantastic, my friend. Alright, so 70 minutes at Snetterton. This is going to be, well, this is going to be interesting. Again, we don't have a lot of banking. There's not a lot of undulations on the racetrack here. It's a pretty flat racetrack. Lots of wind here on the track today as well. It looks like, as you can see, the flags are blowing quite heavily here on the racetrack today. And with the track being so wide open from one part of the track to the next part of the track, the wind is going to affect the track pretty much all the way across as well. So that's definitely going to play a factor into the driver's turning, braking, acceleration points as well. Maybe it's only a 50-minute race tonight. I might have had it wrong. I thought it was a 70. There was. I just haven't actually been able to watch it yet, unfortunately. I'll catch it later tonight, though, for sure, on GT World there. You are correct, Adrena. There was a race at Snetterton in real life today. Had an interesting race today in Porsche Cup. Now just relaxing, sipping brews on the balcony. Nice, Speedy. Nice, nice, nice. What split are you in Porsche Cup, my dude? I can't remember. We had a pretty good split B set of races for the most part. The grid was a little, not quite every driver showed up. A split B was pretty solid in Porsche Cup today, so not too shabby over on that end. It was insane. Oh, good. I'm definitely going to watch it later. Alright, so what we're going to see here, chat, for a minute and a half now, we're still going to see just this screen. Eventually it'll let me get on track with the drivers on track, and then what's going to happen is we're going to see the drivers take off one at a time, single file. So what we're seeing is not a race start. what we're seeing is a virtual safety car lap. So obviously there's not a real safety car on the track guiding these drivers around, but over their radio communication tools in their race cars, race control is telling these drivers when to leave, what the speed is. So we'll see these drivers run 3/4 of the distance to about 2/3 of the distance around this racetrack in single file. We'll see them swinging back and forth, left and right, braking, accelerating hard, doing all kinds of things that don't make a whole lot of sense. But what these drivers are doing is building up air pressure in their tires. They're trying to warm up their brakes, so when they do get around back to the start finish line at the end of that virtual safety car lap, race control will then get in their ears. They'll line them up 2 by 2 in the positions they qualified. They will control the pace of the cars leading up into what we call a go zone, and then when they drop those green flags, all drivers will be able to take off. However, the drivers are not allowed to pass until they cross the checkered flag, of course, the start finish line, and of course the drivers do need to maintain their position on the racetrack until they cross the start finish line as well. If you do not maintain speed, race control will hand these drivers a drive-through penalty as well. So it is important that you get it right. You got to listen to race control in the radio. You can't distract yourself. And then from there, it is a race on. So we are about to get to that point where we're going to start seeing the drivers taking off in the order they qualified. Obviously, our pole sitter will leave first, second, and third, fourth, fifth, all the way down through our 17 driver field here today. Yeah, GT7 does have a Porsche Cup, actually. Haha. They do. I think I qualified like 2 positions out of C. Oh, I got you, Petey. Okay. I got you. Then yeah, it was probably a little interesting. I don't disagree with you on that one. GT7 does have a Porsche Cup, and it is presented by Wheelspin Racing, as a matter of fact. It's actually their 5th season, and I know that because we broadcast for the second split for WSR Porsche Cup on GT7. We actually just did the broadcast for them about 3.5 hours ago. No, not that kind of Porsche car. They do kind of have them in a sense. I mean, you could definitely build some of the street version Porsche cars into a Porsche Cup car for sure with tuning in that in GT7. But an official Porsche Cup car, they have a GT3 version, and the GR4 came in Porsche racing cars, obviously, and the GR1. But they don't have the actual sports Porsche Sports Cup car. No, they do not. We would have to essentially modify a street version to make that happen. I mean, it might come in the future. Who knows what's going on over there, but, you know, that's all right. That is all right. So, yeah, you know, it's a Porsche Cup, kind of Porsche Cup. GT3 Porsche Cup. There's a couple of leagues that run Porsche Series, actually, on GT7 that are pretty good, so they're out there. They're definitely out there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we're on this virtual safety lap right now, and the drivers are kind of just chilling right now, playing nice. You don't see a whole lot of swerving back and forth yet. You're seeing some of it now, just as we say that. You see the Mercedes and the McLaren around Tango 2 and the BMW here starting to do that, little side-to-side action. You see Tango 2 slamming on the brake a little bit there. You see him speed up aggressively a little bit there. That helps heat the tires up as well. It also helps warm up the brakes. So that's kind of what these drivers are doing, and the reason why they're doing that is because they want to try and maximize their grip factor. The more optimal they can get those tire temperatures before they take off on the green flag, then the better hookup they're going to get around turn 1, and hopefully ideally get a clean runaway out of turn 1 and start challenging for a race win. That is the plan, as always, when we're racers. But you can't win a race in turn 1, but you can definitely lose a race in turn 1 all at the same time. So now race control's in the ear. He's lining the drivers up 2 by 2 here in the positions that they qualified in. And here we go. We are getting close to race start here. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like it's going to be a 50-minute endurance race here today at Snetterton, not 70. That was my mistake. And it is a 1 pit stop mandatory tire change required here tonight for these drivers. Kick them tires, light them fires. Let's go racing, chat. Let's get on over to that IRL YouTube, those beautiful, beautiful viewers over there, and see what is happening. Good luck, Ripe Jazz. Great race, everyone. Checkered flags. Let's go. All right, so We are waiting. Again, we're going to sit with the 9th place driver here. This is, again, just to kind of see what's happening, to try and get the best look we can through the whole field coming into the first early corners of the race. Once we feel that the start is good, we are green, and we are racing. We are good to go, and it is Audi and Audi side by side. Bloxham and Johnny B taking off here, and here we go. It looks like so far, oh, we got some dirt. We got one of our race leaders off. We got Critical backwards on the racetrack, and boy, we got everybody taking avoiding action, and oh, it is just a mess. We got an Audi, I believe, of Scary Guy for You off in the background there as well. So, ooh, it is a little spicy here to start this race today, and 3 drivers off in the first corner. So, let's go see what we see. All right, we got some damage on a bunch of race cars here too as well. Darmel looks unscathed. Fluka looks unscathed but down 1 position. We've got Butler Racing and looks unscathed. Rigo in 9th place. Who else do we got going on here? We got Critico. Obviously was one of those drivers we've seen facing the wrong direction into turn 1. It looked like all the drivers did a pretty good job of avoiding that car stuck the wrong way on the racetrack. I don't see too much damage or any damage on that race car, but boy, he is way down in 15th here and has some ground to make up. We've got Bloxham here in 2nd place. Darmel is leading this race now after that crazy race start. We don't know what happened there, and then we got Scary Guy for You here. He was one of those cars that was involved late into that Learn 1 incident as well. He's here in 16th position. Johnny B was also one of the other drivers that was involved in that, and it does appear that he has some rear end damage on this Audi here, so maybe a little bit of help from behind. It's just what it appears to be, though. Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of damage there on that race car. So, not sure what happened up front, but boy, oh boy, that could change things in the standings in a hurry, doesn't it, chat? There is no red flag called there. The race does continue, and it is game on here for the next 48 minutes remaining in this race. So, Seal in 14th. We got Semestre all the way up into P5. Make It Rain in 6th place, just tucked in behind here. We've got Arcano in 13th position here, and has a GLR Seal all up in his business here in that BMW up in behind. Make It Rain up into 5th place here now. Tango 2 maybe made a little bit of a mistake there, but Tango 2 again just kept the car nice and safe, kept it nice and patient. He's moved up 3 positions from his race start when he started in 9th, now up to 6th. So Ripe Jazz here in 11th place. He's in the McLaren. Again, this was a driver who opted to go from Honda all the way to McLaren, and by doing so having to give up all his championship points earned in that NSX. So starting from scratch here today in this McLaren. Be interesting to see how he does, but he's trying to take a look here up on the Mercedes, and it is a side-by-side battle. There might have been just a slight amount of contact there, and I think maybe he backed off slightly a little bit, but still a little battle developing here between McLaren and Mercedes driver as we head around the corner here. And this pack is pretty tight, so it's going to get a little well, we'll have to see. It's going to be a lot of nose and tail racing, so we're going to see drivers bobbing and weaving and trying to get some clean air in these race cars here today. So it's going to be interesting to see how, well, they all manage that. Rig Pig here, he's in 8th place. He started in 11th, so he is also up 3 positions. And oh boy, a little bit of a bump right there, unsettled that Lexus, and with a big slide there, and he just nicked the wall. So he did a pretty good job of keeping a hard hit out of the wall there, but that's going to cost him some time and some position on the racetrack right there. And just as we go talk about the poor man, we see that Lexus have a moment here at Snetterton. One of the very few undulations or elevation changes in that little bump in the road there really unsettled that Lexus. Fluka and Darmel in 2nd and 3rd place here, and chasing now only MX Bloxham here at this point. So MX Bloxham is 2nd in the championship point standings, and well, chasing only Johnny B and Critico, who right now currently are sitting a little ways in the back of the pack. Butler Racing here, he started in 6th, just sitting in 7th. Johnny B is already back up into 6th place, so Johnny B is making up some time here already. We got Rigo in 8th place. He's got Arcano right there on the back tail fin, and a couple little guys coming along the way, and one of those is Critico as well. So let's see if Critico can make his way through this pack here and start chasing back down up front as well. He was one of the faster drivers in qualifying, so we definitely know he's got the pace, but now he's just got to get back into race mode and focus up and lock it in and just send it. All right, race leader is MX blocks him here right now, though. Alright, we're trying to get the right camera angle. There we go. So on board with our current race leader here right now, there's a braking board out in the middle of the racetrack there, so that could be dangerous for a race car driver. If he collects that up in his front grille, it's going to block off some of that cool air that comes in the race car, could start making the car overheat a little bit. So a little bit of debris sitting on the racetrack there. Surprised race control hasn't taken care of that, but I guess we'll, well, eventually it'll be taken care of. MX blocks him here though, and this is, again, the pit entry coming up right there. And a snaky little pit entry there too. You got to be very careful. So coming across the start-finish line right there. So a lap around Snetterton here with Bloxham here. As I'm not sure what lap it is that we're starting on there. Lap 3. So 47.795, and fastest lap on the racetrack right now by MX Bloxham. But it is, again, only lap 3. We'll see about 28 to 30 laps here today, maybe a little more. Based off lap times, and of course depending on how many pit stops and how long those pit stops are here today. And you can see, there's not a lot of rolling for these cars here. And there's a small amount of bank in that corner, but for a racetrack, very, very little of, well, anything to help a race car rotate, essentially. It's a very flat track, and that's what makes it so difficult. It does provide for some high speed, but it also provides for a lack of grip in corners because you don't have a little bit of a bank or a little bit of something there that kind of help nose the car in or help get that car to start rotating around the corner. You can see Scary Guy for You here has some pretty heavy front end damage on his Audi here, and that's unfortunate. Semestri there now in 16th place. Not sure what happened to Semestri here. Ooh, and Make It Rain eating a lot of curb there on that exit, as Johnny B is just up in behind 5th place driver Tango 2 here right now, trying to chase him down. So, ooh, Johnny B was our pole sitter here, had something go on in the first corner of the race, and finding himself having to move back through the field to try and get back up into a fight for podium position. This driver is, of course, trying to repeat a championship here. He is last season's championship race winner as well. So he definitely has the pace. He definitely has the experience to be able to do it. But the question is, can he get it all together here today to make it all happen? We've got Tenacious here in 14th place. Again, I think it's a new driver on the grid here. We got a red sticker there, so that says he is a fairly new driver. Sitting currently in 14th position. We've got Tango 2 there in 5th place. And again, Johnny B just in behind here, trying to make a charge, but not able to make anything happen currently. GLR Seal is in 10th. I believe this driver started in 14th position. Critical has gotten around this driver now, so Critical is starting to make some moves. He's up at the 9th place now. Semestri cleared at pit stop, so the driver on a different strategy. He has already cleared the stop. So the first of our 17 drivers to clear their official required pit stop, meaning that he took those tires. This driver's good to go. He can just run his race here now. He's got some clean air to work with here as well, and literally nobody in front of or in behind him at the moment. A 10-second gap to the race leader here at the moment, but as long as the driver has pace, they shouldn't really run into each other here, and eventually those drivers are going to have to make a pit stop as well. So clean, efficient laps with no mistakes here, and that early pit stop could be a very good strategy here for Semestri in 16th place currently. We'll have to wait and see. We've got our Cano there, oh, wrong button, in 13th position. We've got Make It Rain here in 4th. Got Ripe Jazz here in 8th place. Rig Pig in 11th. So we seen Rig Pig here, poor guy. He started off good. He was in 8th place, and right through this sector right here, that car just hit a bump and got a little unsettled on him, and went for a little spin. Just clipped the wall there. You can see the paint scrape on the left front fender of the car there, where he just nipped the wall, but still currently sitting in his starting position here on the race. And right now is Rigo just up in behind him here. So looking strong now. Just a moment on the racetrack there for him early on, but looks like he's gathered it up and he's kind of back in the rhythm here. So 4.9 seconds up the road from second place driver Darmel in the Ferrari here this season is MX Bloxham. So a nice healthy little gap for our race leader here currently right now. Darmel having a solid race start here and doing his best to try, well, and track MX Bloxham down. We know Bloxham is a quick driver. Got Fluka in the 3rd place here, and teammate, obviously, the same color schemes on these cars, same car, looking pretty good here in 3rd place as well. So Ferrari showing quite strong here early on at Snetterton today. Butler Racing in 6th place, Team Lamborghini here. We have 2 of them, I think 2 of them on the track here today, and this will be the highest up position Lamborghini in the racetrack so far, sitting in 6th place, having a pretty good race here so far. We got Rigo in 11th place in this Mercedes here, and the only Mercedes on the track here today. Critico up to 8th place now here, and looks like it's no, it is not. It is Ripe Jazz up in front in 7th place. He is now trying to catch up to. So one of our faster drivers in qualifying, and the pace is starting to show here as he tries to make his way back through the field after a turn 1 incident. Bloxham here, and Bloxham has some damage on the front of that bumper here in the Audi, so may have been involved in that turn 1 incident as well, but we're only speculating because we were on the 9th place driver when that happened. So alright, scary guy for you. And we know that you can see on this car has some damage. This car's hurt a little bit. It's limping around the racetrack. He is really working hard at just trying to stay out of the way of the faster drivers here right now. You can see him just getting out of the way and just trying to give the room to these drivers to get around. The Ferraris do get around there. Great job to scary guy here in 16th position to allow those drivers. You can see that car's really struggling. You can just tell by the way it's acting going in and out of the corners. That front suspension a little bit messed up here on that Audi right now currently. The crew is definitely going to have its work cut out for him in pit lane when he finally does decide to bring that thing in for a service. They're going to have to get some tape on that car. They're going to have to get that all flattened out so that poor gentleman can try and put down some lap times here. Johnny B has now cleared his pit stop as well, so our second driver to make that pit stop, and he does it quite early here as well, and maybe thinking the same thing as Semestri. I'm going to make that stop. I'm going to get out into some clean racing air. I can just put down some quality laps. I don't have to worry about pressure. Don't have to worry about battling anybody. We'll see what happens in the last 15 to 10 minutes of the race and see where we're sitting and see if we have any battles to develop there. So a couple drivers stopping quite early here for this mandatory tire stop this week. Tenacious in 13th, having a pretty good run here. A little bit of damage on the front of that car. Tango 2, and he's just going around Scary Guy there. And Scary Guy's doing a fantastic job at exercising what a blue flag car should be doing around the racetrack here. Oh, he made a little bit of a mistake right there, though, and he goes off track there, but that's going to allow some of the other guys just to get on through. And not intentional there by any means. I think he just made a braking error coming in. And again, the front end of that car is quite damaged, so that car is definitely fighting that driver right now, trying to get around the track as efficiently as possible. But Tango 2 up in the 5th place here, so having a good solid race for himself here so far tonight, up 5 positions here now. GLR Seal is up a few positions here. A little bit of damage on this race car as well. So the war wounds showing here on our racers today. That is for sure. I mean, what else can we say? That's just the way it is. Here on the set of Corza. It's so much of a different game. It's so much of a different sim. And well, the temperature of your tires really are crucial to how your car reacts around the racetrack, and that's only the start of it. So without getting too much into it and taking away from what's happening here on the racetrack, obviously, it's a real deal sim. I mean, you really do need to be able to understand how a car works and what a toe and a camber does and what an aero adjustment does and all these things. So lots to know and lots to learn. So it's a big learning curve coming from a simcade like Gran Turismo to a sim like a Assetto Corsa Competizione or iRacing, for example. Alright, Semestri here, 15th position. Already up 2 positions with 17 starting, and I think only 15, maybe 16 currently on the racetrack right now. So one driver already in behind the wall, and I believe that might be Captain Nor. He might not have even started the race here today. Make It Rain in 4th place. Ripe Jazz is down into 14th, has cleared their pit stop here now as well. Rig Pig is just up in behind Scary Guy for you and gets the job done there. It was a little bit of a sketchy area there to have to do that, but he made it work, and he continues on down the racetrack. Scary Guy is doing a really great job at allowing all these faster cars to get through safely. He really is. Fluka here now in the 2nd place with Darmel making his mandatory pit stop there, as we just seen in pit lane. The crew's working on that car right now. Puts Butler Racing up into 5th place, GLR Seal up into 6th. And Butler's right there behind Tango 2 here currently. We've got Rigo in 8th place, and he's got a Cano right on the doorstep here. He is just looking through those trees in the backyard here, going, all right, what is the best route here to get around this car? So he is taking a peek. He got a good run there. Let's see if he can take advantage in coming in through the next sector here. Now the Mercedes is going to have a little more of a straight line pull on this Porsche, but this Porsche is a very nimble race car and can absolutely zip around these corners on the technical parts of the racetrack here. So it's a pretty good equal battle, but Rigo taking a look up here. Scary Guy as well. Scary Guy doing a great job holding it out on the outside there, and both drivers get through there. So great job to all those drivers. We've got Critico in pit lane. He's going to be clearing his pit stop here. And MX Bloxham, our race leader, has a 10-11 second gap now to 2nd place. So he is cruising around the racetrack here right now. But all these leaders still do have to make that mandatory pit stop at some point throughout the race, whenever it is that they choose to do so. They can literally leave it till the last lap if that's what they want to do. That's entirely up to the drivers. We got Johnny B here. He has cleared his stop and sitting in 11th currently. Tenacious hasn't cleared his stop yet, sitting in 12th. New driver in the field though. We have Tango 2 in 5th place here. The top 10 or 11 drivers all need to clear their pit stops here still. So we're going to be seeing lots of pit stops happening. We're going to see lots of positions changing. We're really not going to know where the battle for the real finishing positions are. I'm going to say till the last 10 minutes of the race is looking like. So we'll just take it as the action comes to us here. Semestri just in behind Critico here, and I mean, he's up in the slipstream there, so both these drivers have cleared their pit stops. Now, Critico just came out of pit lane, so that very early on pit stop from Semestri here may have paid off as he comes out just in behind Critico. So, and then right in behind them is that race leader Bloxham, and I mean, he's sniffing. He's just a couple seconds in behind these two at this point. So a tough situation, because that kind of technically makes them lap traffic, but they're not going to want to be a lap down here to the race leader, who ultimately they are trying to chase at some point in the race here. We got Arcano in 8th place. We got Make It Rain is in 11th. He cleared their pit stop. Ripe Jazz has cleared their stop. Rig Pig was going for a rough ride there over the sausage curbs, and lives another day to talk about it there in that Lexus. A fairly heavy car though, so it can take a little bit of a beating, but it still unsettles these race cars. It still owes his stop as well. Darmel has cleared his stop here, and I think he's the first of the drivers to clear their stops as far as position goes, currently sitting in 9th place on the racetrack. Fluka's in 2nd, needs to clear their stop. Butler needs to clear his stop, and currently sitting in P3 right now on the racetrack. So having an absolutely bang up race right now on Snetterton is Butler Racing. So Rigo in 7th place. Arcano right in behind there in 8th place as well. So Marcio doing what Marcio's done so far all season long, just sticking to kind of his race plan, and so far has led to some pretty good solid race finishes for that driver. We've got Critico here in 14th. You can see the blue flags being waved. There's Semestri under fire from Bloxham. Is going to give up that position to the race leader there. So Bloxham now in between Semestri and Critico here. Johnny B in 10th place was our pole sitter here at race start. So just goes to show that anything can happen in racing. This is a very has been a very dominant driver over the last few weeks here at the Infinite Racing League GT3 North American Series. So he has been a very tough guy to beat, and right now not having the best of races here in 10th place. Tenacious in 13th. You can see some car on some damage on the front end of that car there. You can see the hood's a little flapping in the wind, a little buckled. You can see some pretty good scratching on the front end of that car, and we got a little bit of damage on the back end of it as well. So potentially this driver has had a little discussion with Barry R at some point throughout the race here. We've got Tango 2 in 4th place. Tango is just doing his thing, man. Started in 9th place, just moving his way up the field very calmly, very patiently. Ooh, and a Lamborghini going around backwards. A big mistake there from Butler Racing, and Tango 2 is going to move right up into 3rd place. Thank you very much. Hate to see it, but I'll take it type situation. And BMW now up into 3rd place. So Butler Racing just getting it a little bit wrong, coming through the S's there, and got that Lamborghini spun around. He does get settled back into 4th place there, but definitely cost some time and a position. A great job there by Tango 2 not to get into Butler Racing. He just slammed on the anchor there and pretty much put that car to a stop to make sure that he knew where that Lamborghini was going to end up going before he went through the corners. So a little bit of a quick decision making right there from Tango 2, and well, gets himself into the podium here for the time being. GLR Seal in 5th place. We got Semestri in 15th here, and it does look like we only have 15 drivers on track now, as it looks like we're going to have 2 behind the wall here now early on in this race. And again, Snetterton's not that simple of a racetrack just due to the sheer flatness of this racetrack and how wide open it is to itself as well. So wind has a lot of space to travel through this racetrack, and it can affect your cornering, it can affect your exits, it can affect your overall speed, it can affect a lot of things. Drivers are constantly going to have to be adjusting to that as the race conditions change throughout the day. So Make It Rain here in 11th place for the McLaren, chilling, doing his thing. Ripe Jazz is currently sitting in 12th place. We've got Rig Pig here up into 6th place. Darmel is in 10th, and now Johnny B has gotten ahead there. Oh, not really anywhere for Darmel to go there, as that the blue flag car had the inside apex there. He tried to hang it out on the inside there and just about made the mistake. So gathers it back up. It keeps on going there, but losing just a little bit of time there to Johnny B and Make It Rain in behind. But no harm, no foul there. It is, of course, up to the lead lap cars, the faster cars that are going around blue flag traffic or lap down cars to also do it safely as well. So it's not just on the car that is a lap down or about to be put a lap down, it's also on the driver on the lead lap as well. So the decision making does come down to both drivers there, and maybe a little bit of miscommunication in that situation right there. I think might have been a little bit of it, or just a little bit of impatience, but yeah, having to dodge on the outside there and almost losing the backside of that Ferrari, so that could have cost a lot there. Rigo here in 8th. It's Critico in 14th. Race leader now in pit lane. He's got that pit stop cleared. He's going to come out in 7th, maybe even 8th place, as Rigo in that Mercedes is just barreling down the start-finish line here. He is going to just leapfrog over Bloxham there, so Bloxham is going to come out in 8th place right in behind Mercedes driver Rigo. Scary Guy's in 16th here, and he is just giving it everything he's got here today. He's got a very damaged race car as well right now, so some difficult racing conditions for Scary Guy. Johnny B here in 9th place, and Bloxham now just up ahead of him there in 8th place by about 14 seconds. So you can see what that early racing incident cost for time for Critico and Johnny B at the start of the race into turn 1 and 2 there. We've got Tenacious and Critico having a nice little battle here, and Tenacious is actually going to come into pit lane, so Critico is just going to get the free spot there. He didn't have to battle too much. Always, I'm sure he likes to see that, and he's going to continue the march up to the next driver up ahead of him there. We got JLR Seal in a 4th position here now, as Butler Racing's in 3rd place, of course, with the pit stop made by Bloxham. That puts Tango 2 in 2nd, Butler Racing in 3rd, and Fluka up into the lead of the race. Semestri all the way up into 14th position here currently. Marcio is in 6th, and again, just sticking to his plan, man. Sticking to the strategy as this driver in this Porsche every week, and currently sitting with a potential top 6, maybe even better finish here right now. Make It Rain in 11th. It was in 8th for a while, was in 9th for a while, so he's been a little up and a little bit down here, but having a pretty good race for himself as well. Ripe Jazz. Oh, massive hit there into the wall. You can see that hit was huge. And, well, that car is not going to be steering too well in the right side of that car. That was a massive hit right there for Ripe Jazz. And, well, we'll have to see if he decides to make a pit for damage here. He already has cleared his pit stop here as well. So, tough ride into the wall there from Ripe Jazz. A Rig Pig here in 5th place. It just goes to show that the testament to the safety precautions put around the racetrack. I mean, that driver hit that wall at about 70, 80 mile an hour sliding through grass, and the car can still drive away on its own power. It might not be in great running condition, but still able to drive away on its own power, and the driver's okay. So it really goes to show that the safety and how far it's come over years and years of, well, trial and error, I guess we can call it, at the expense of race cars and race car drivers. But as, of course, we progress and the sport continues to get more popular and bigger, the engineers continue to make bigger strides in racing safety, so we love to see it. Alright, so race leader now coming into pit lane. Fluka now coming in to clear that mandatory stop. Butler Racing here in 3rd place and Tango 2 in 2nd. What are they going to choose to do is the next question. It kind of looks like Tango 2 has decided to pit as well, and Butler Racing looks like he's going to continue on. No, Tango 2 has also continued on down the road, so Tango 2 is going to take over the lead of the race. Butler Racing is going to move up to 2nd. Seal going to move up into 3rd place with that pit stop from Fluka in the Ferrari there. Rigo here currently sitting in 8th place. Critico in 13th position. Bloxham in 6th. So this was our race leader before he pit. Now currently sitting in 5th place, and the top 4 drivers ahead still needing to also clear their pit stops. Rigo in behind there in 6th, 5 seconds behind, and Fluka just in behind Rigo there as well. Oh, Johnny B just making something happen there. As it looks like Johnny B just gotten around Fluka there, and Johnny B, we're going to move up into 7th position. Alright. Oh, there, boy, we got a little bit of contact between Darmel and Scary Guy there, and I'm not sure what happened there, but Scary Guy just holding that inside line there, and the Ferrari going around on the outside. Just a little bit of rear wheel to front wheel contact there. Both drivers going around there, so hopefully both cars are okay. We'll get through the field and see what Darmel's car looks like there next time around. But we've got Tenacious here in 15th. Got Tango 2 in the lead of this race, of course, still owing that pit stop. GLR Seal now sitting on that final step of the podium here right now, but again, also still owes that pit stop. Rig Pig chasing there in 4th place. Semestri here is now up into 13th position. Marcio chasing in 14th. Make It Rain is in 9th, with Darmel chasing in 10th in behind. Got Ripe Jazz in 11th, and we just seen Ripe Jazz have a pretty big hit with the racing wall there. There we go. There's Darmel here. He had contact to the right rear tire with the Audi of Scary Guy for you. And again, incidental contact. That definitely wasn't anything malicious or intentional. And it just looks like a little bit of scratch on the car. And oh boy, he's just making another mistake there. And that now is that a result of the incident with the Audi? I'm not 100% sure, but he is going to get that car spun around here and continue on down the road. So tough final stint here for Darmel right now, as sometimes that's all it takes. You just have one little moment of a fluster or cluster or frustration, and it takes your brain a couple laps to settle back into what's going on sometimes. And I think that's just what we're seeing there. A little bit of dirty air as he was catching up to that next car. Maybe made a little bit of a braking error. Maybe he had some dirty tires. Maybe there's a little bit of damage in the front end of that or the back end of that car, and it just didn't react the way he was expecting it to. A number of things could have happened there. We got Butler Racing now up in the lead and Rig Pig in second place here. So the drivers up in front have all started to pit as well. So Tango 2 now clearing his pit stop, leaving Butler Racing and Rig Pig and Alexis left to make their pit stops up front. Rigo's just coming out from his pit stop here. I think he was already cleared on his pit stop, but I could be wrong on that. So that leaves Critico here in 9th place. He's got Ripe Jazz just a couple seconds up the road in front, but he's got 2 lap cars here in front of him that he's got to navigate first. So he is going to have to make his way around Tenacious and Scary Guy before he can think about trying to reel in and make up time on the 8th place driver, Ripe Jazz. Alright, so Bloxham is up into 3rd place here. Darmel is a blue flag car apparently here, as Bloxham is... Oh, Darmel's just come into pit lane there, so... Okay, I see what's... so must be something wrong with that race car. He's getting the crew to take a look at it, and that's really unfortunate there. He's... looked like he was looking good in that Ferrari here today. He looked like he's finally got... starting to get a handle on that race car, and just an unfortunate situation there for him in that second stint. But the team is looking at that car, so we'll see if they can get that Ferrari back out on the track. Johnny B is in 4th place here. Tenacious is struggling a little bit there, but it does look like Seal is making his way through, so Critico's made his way through there as well, and we've seen Scary Guy just letting GLR Seal through there as well, just in the foreground of that shot before we switch cameras. So Tango 2, after making his pit stops, come back out in 7th place. And 15 seconds in behind Make It Rain, actually. So interesting to see that there is that much of a time split difference between those two there. GLR Seal is 2.5 seconds in behind Critico. Semestri, who's currently sitting in 11th place right now, and again just navigating a little bit of blue flag traffic here right now, has GLR Seal up ahead there in 10th place. Marcio is just coming up to some of these blue flag cars now. The blue flag cars that are up ahead essentially are out of position as well, so they do need to give way to these leaders as they start to catch up to them, as there is no battle for position up in front of the faster traffic in those 2 cars that they're catching up to. Ripe Jazz here in 8th place. You can see Critico has very quickly caught up to Ripe Jazz here, but Ripe Jazz again fighting a bit of a hurt race car. He's got damage on both ends of this race car here now, the back and the front end of this race car, so he's definitely got a struggle on his hands here underneath the wheel, and Critico's gonna just take a big look here up the inside and gonna get lots of speed in the slipstream and should be able to get the job done relatively easily here. And that is definitely the case. So Critico is going to move up into 8th place. That's going to put Ripe Jazz down into 9th position. We got Rig Pig here in 1st place still. Owes that pit stop. And, well, we're leading the race right now. We still have 17 minutes remaining, a little over. So he has plenty of time to make that pit stop yet. It's not required that at a certain time you have to make that pit stop. And it looks like Darmel's got the car being looked at here in pit lane as well. We got Fluka here in 4th place. Got Butler here in 7th position. Rigo is in 13th with that Mercedes. So the Mercedes proving to be not as strong of a car here today at Snetterton. It does really seem like these mid-rear engine cars really are the go-tos here around this racetrack. It just seems to be the way it is. Alright, so it's Bloxham who is chasing our leader now. Once Rig Pig does decide to make that pit stop, Bloxham should retain the race lead back. And then it'll be Johnny B chasing in behind. Now Johnny B's done a really good job of driving back up through the whole field over this race and getting himself back into 2nd place. 3rd place, sorry. assuming to be third place once Rig Pig finally does opt to make their pit stop. Tenacious here in 14th position and doing a great job putting in that seat time, and that's how you continue to get better at these sims, these platforms, these racings, especially doing league racing like this. Like I said, organized events, they have rules, they have regulations, and it's just typically a whole lot different style of racing than, say, just bouncing from lobby to lobby to lobby that you can find and racing with people you don't know, you don't trust, you don't know their style. Yeah, it's just a much more safer, sociable environment to race in. So, highly recommend it, that is for sure. Tango 2 here in 6th place. GLR Seal is in 10th. We have Semestri in 11th, and he's got some heavy damage on the side of that racing Porsche. Arcano Marcio here in 12th position. Make It Rain here in 5th place. Looking solid. 5 seconds, 6 seconds almost behind Fluka right now. And big gap from Tango 2 in 6th place. So MX Bloxham has shaved almost 3.5 seconds off of Rig Pig this time around here. So at some point, when does Rig Pig decide to make that mandatory tire change? It could be this lap, could be next lap. He might literally save it until the end of the race. But I think if you were to try to wait that long, I do believe that our second place driver is just going to catch up to him and potentially pass him. And then that battling is going to cost both these drivers time. And that might not work out so good for Rig Pig, because obviously when he pits, he's going to want to come out in the closest position to the lead as he can. Fluka is currently sitting in 4th place and will should take back onto podium once Rig Pig and Alexis does finally make that pit stop. But maybe just playing a little mind games with these drivers, making them think that he's already stopped. Maybe they're unaware that he still owes that pit stop. I mean, it's really hard to say. Depends on how good the team communication is, I guess, between crew chiefs and drivers and spotters. Rigo here in 13th position and holding pretty strong. Critico in 9th place, and Ripe Jazz has gotten back around Critico here, so healthy little battle between these two guys, and maybe another off or a little bit of a mistake made by Critico, as GLR Seal in 10th place is really engaged in this battle now as well. Yeah, MX Bloxham here in 2nd place, looking pretty strong, but Johnny B's only 3 seconds down the road in behind, so and they're reeling in Rig Pig. They're only a couple seconds off the current race leader right now, who again still owes that pit stop. Tenacious in 14th position, doing pretty good in his first race here. Got a scary guy for you off in the background here. It's been a tough, stressful race for him, but he's still out there and he's still putting in that time, so we love to see that. We got Tango 2 here in 6th place, and having a pretty decent race here is Tango 2 in this BMW here today. Could it have been better? Maybe. Could it have been worse? Maybe. Is he happy? Hard to say, but 6th place finish, not too shabby. GLR Seal here in 10th. Semestre is in 11th. Arcano Marcio here is in 12th position. We've got Make It Rain here in 4th place. So there we go. Make It Rain is doing pretty good here. He's cleared that pit stop. 6.5 seconds in behind Fluka. And Rig Pig is now the nearest. Tango 2 is the nearest positional driver as Rig Pig's made their pit stop there. And that's almost 17 seconds. So looking good right now are all the drivers on the grid. So it looks like all drivers have cleared that mandatory tire stop here today. And we're at about 11.5 minutes remaining in the race. I did say that it'd be about 10 minutes remaining where we could finally see where the race was sitting in after all the pit stops have rounded out. And boy, we were not wrong when we said 10-minute mark. We were bang on the money there, it looks like. So it is MX Bloxham in the race lead. It's Johnny B in the second place. It's Fluka in third. Make It Rain in fourth. Tango 2 in fifth. Butler Racing in sixth position. We've got Rig Pig in seventh. Ripe Jazz in eighth. Critico Basilico in ninth place. Let's see if we can get a little bit better than that. We've got GLR Seal in 10th. Semestre in 11th. Arcano Marcio in 12th position. And Scary Guy, Rigo, Darmel, and off the top of my head, can't remember the other ones, are lap down, plus potentially maybe more than one, in behind the field here. So Bloxham is now chasing down Rigo in his 13-second gap with only 10 minutes remaining. I doubt he's going to close that gap up, but who am I? I mean, maybe I'm wrong. It could be he could catch up to him in 2 laps. But, yeah, nice clean air here right now for our race leader, Bloxham, and you can see the blue flag come out for Scary Guy for you there. It looks like Rigo panicked just a tiny little bit there and took a defensive maneuver or a safe maneuver and actually cost himself time there as Scary Guy was allowing him to take the inside rip through the corner there. But, again, just a driver being cautious, and there's nothing wrong with that either. Johnny B, second place, chasing only, I believe, Critico by 1 point in the standings. He's got Critico beat by a few positions here right now, currently on the racetrack, potentially 7. So that is going to be a big shakeup in the championship standings at the midway point through the season here after tonight. If the race were to finish in the order it's in right now. Alright, Make It Rain in 4th place here, and just in no man's land. I mean, 7 seconds to 3rd place driver, 17 seconds to the 5th place driver. He's just chilling. 9 more minutes of safe laps, and that's a good result there for Make It Rain for McLaren. Ripe Jazz is also holding out a top 10 spot here currently right now. GLR Seal has moved up into 9th place, but doing a pretty good job here in the McLaren so far this weekend. Alright, so Rig Pig started in 9th position. He's up to 7th position here currently, so up 2 positions from where he started. Not too shabby. You're always looking to move up as a racer from where you qualified, and right now that is exactly what Rig Pig is doing. Got Fluka here in 3rd position, holding down that final podium spot here right now. Butler Racing is in 6th place. We've got Rigo here in 13th position. We've got Critico in 8th place and chasing Rig Pig down. So not only chasing Rig Pig down, but on Rig Pig as he battles him for this position going into this next sector side by side. And NSX going to have the position coming out of the corner. They're going to get the job done. He's able to get the power down early and get a run out of the exit. No response there at all from Rig Pig. And Critico now moves up 1 more spot here in the field today. All right. So, Johnny B in the race lead here all of a sudden. MX Bloxham here in 2nd place, and not sure what's happened there, but something changed there. A mistake maybe made by Bloxham in one of these corners, and Johnny B has gotten back around into the lead here. Scary Guy in 15th, so it's going to be interesting to see what these drivers are going to have to say here tonight in the interviews, that's for sure. Alright, it is Tenacious here in 14th, and again, the first drive on track, I believe, for this driver here. So, looking pretty good there, looking pretty good. Tango 2 here in 5th place, and has a couple of blue flag cars up ahead of him. Darmel is in pit lane, though, so that's not one he needs to battle with at all. And, ooh, a little bit of a mistake there as we got a battle between 8th and 9th place between Rig Pig and GLR Seal. Let's stick with this here for a minute as GLR Seal tries to find a way around Rig Pig here as they start lap 23 here today. And with just 6 minutes remaining, it's kind of all or nothing here. Drivers are going to start pushing. They're going to start trying to force the issue and try to gain that 1 or 2, 3, 4 more positions, depending on, of course, what you're looking at through your windshield at the time. When that timer starts to count down, so you know that the crew chiefs and the team captains are in these drivers' ears. They're telling them that, you know, okay, we got about 3 laps left. You're faster than this guy right now. Last couple laps around, make it happen. So is what GLR Seal is attempting to do here right now is exactly that. Try to make something happen to gain another position before the end of this race. Semestri is in 11th place. And just running in clean air right now. Much of the same for Marcio. Make It Rain has Fluka 8.9 seconds ahead and blue flag car in behind, so he's chilling. Ripe Jazz is 3.9 seconds in behind that battle for 8th and 9th place. If those drivers start battling anytime in the near future, that could be an invitation for Ripe Jazz to catch up and get involved in that as well. So it is a Rig Pig and GLR Seal here still for 8th and 9th place. What else we got? Fluka, there's a big gap there. Bloxham and Johnny B separated by very little there as well up front. Butler in 6th. I'm trying to get to our leaders here right now. We got Critico in 7th, and he's 6 seconds in behind Butler. So Critico's done a pretty good job of driving up here too as well. So 2.1 seconds is the gap from Bloxham to Johnny B. With only 2 more laps remaining after this one. It's time is running out. Time is running out. Johnny B has done the ultimate recovery drive here right now, currently sitting in the race lead, but now he needs to take that checkered flag first to complete the ultimate recovery drive. And even if not finishing in first place, I think driver of the day has to go to Johnny B, as he was in 16th position at one point early on in this race from pole position. So the driver has clearly had some pace here today, but Bloxham is fastest man on the racetrack with a 47.380. Alright, so it is 2 to go this time through here, and it is going to be Johnny B leading the way with a small advantage over second place driver MX Bloxham here, less than 2 seconds. Tenacious Evil in 14th position, and nothing really brewing here for him right now. He's just surviving on that track, getting that seat time. Tango 2 is in 5th place, and he's got Butler racing about 5 seconds in behind, so he can't make a mistake here, but he doesn't have any immediate pressure, and with the clock starting to tick down, he really does just need to bring it home at this point. Oh, and there we go. We got Rig Pig off here. Rig Pig making a mistake. I'm not sure what's happened there, but GLR Seal is going to grab up that position there. Ripe Jazz is also going to grab up that position as well, and Rig Pig's going to have to settle in back in 10th place here, so that's really unfortunate for our Lexus driver, but Semestri not able to capitalize on that. You can see that Lexus up there now, but wasn't able to grab that position on said Lexus after his mistake there. Alright, looking pretty good here. The race leaders have a pretty sizable gap. So the fact that Johnny B has been started on pole, gone to the back of the pack, pit early, and now is 23 seconds ahead of Fluka here in 3rd place, it really does speak volumes for his pace here on Assetto Corsa and PS5, in that Audi especially. He is moving again this season. And I really didn't think we were going to see much more than maybe a top 5, top 6 finish for him today at best, with how much time he had to make up. Boy, was I wrong in thinking that. 1.4 seconds is that gap, as I mean, we should be one lap to go when these guys come around here. I think there'll be about 40 seconds left on the clock by the time they get through the track here, and around the start finish line. I could be wrong here, actually. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe it's more going to be like 20 seconds, but I do believe it's going to be one more time around for all the drivers here, as they're just coming around. Well, this sweeping hairpin is going to lead to a long straightaway, and then it'll come into another hairpin. So that's exactly where we're at right now. And through the S's here is MX Bloxham, and I mean, he's doing everything he can to reel in Johnny B here, but Johnny B is just keeping that gap just big enough to not really allow Bloxham to make a charge here. So teammates in other racing series, clearly they know how each other race, and they're both quite quick drivers as well, fairly equally paced in my opinion. So we got a yellow and a blue flag all happening at the same time here. I'm not sure what that is about, but the leader has finished the race, so Johnny B is going to come across with a race win. It will be second place to MX Bloxham there. Tango 2 coming around here should be a fifth place finish for him. Make It Rain is going to come around and take a fourth place finish, and it looks like Ferrari driver Fluka going to come around and take that their third place finish as well. So as these drivers continue to make their way around the racetrack here right now, we're seeing some checkered flags start to drop down through the list, but we are on board with our fifth place driver, Tango 2, and then that is Butler Racing in sixth, just in behind in that Lamborghini as well. Alright, so sixth place finish here for Tango 2. Butler Racing is going to bring it home here just in behind in P6 there as well. That's going to leave Critico and Seal here. So Critico Basilico will take a seventh place finish. Seal's going to take a eighth place finish. Marcio will take a 10th. It looks like Rig Pig's going to get that 9th place there as they come across the line as well. So I'm seeing some interesting results here. We gotta let everything settle. Let these guys all get across the start-finish line here, and then we can go look at some final results from the drivers here. So here we go. It is Johnny B with the race win unofficially here. MX Bloxham sitting in second place with fastest lap on the racetrack as well. It is Fluka in third place, Make It Rain in fourth. It's going to be Tango 2 in fifth place, Butler Racing in sixth. Critical will finish in seventh with GLR Seal in eighth. Rape Jazz will finish ninth. Arcano Marcio in 10th place. Semestri will come home in 11th. Rigo C24 in 12th. Tenacious SX Evil will be in 13th. Rig Pig 16 and 14th. Scary Guy for You in 15th. Darren Mel in 16th, and Captain Noor did not start the race here today in 17th position. So there we have it. That will be our finishing order here today for our race. Well, that was interesting now, wasn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Let's flip you back over.
Chase to the sundown. We on the chase to the sun up. What's up? Leading the line when we run up. Chasing, chasing, chasing. Every day we chasing, chasing, chasing. No time to be wasting. Look. faux light. Bringing the light, you just so bright. We shining, platinum sound cool, but we tryna reach diamond. Hard work pays off. World with this rhyming is priceless. We got the nicest by putting the time in. Can't be the greatest, I'm not even trying. What now? We on the chase to the sundown. We on the chase to the sun up. What's up? Leading the line when we run up. Chasing, chasing, chasing. Every day we chasing, chasing, chasing. No time to be wasted. What now? We on the chase to the sun up. What's up? Leading the line when we run up. What now? We on the chase to the sun up. What's up? Leading the line when we run up.
Hello? Man, I lost track of time. I apologize, mama. Go ahead and eat without me. I'm still on the grind.
I ain't touching home base by dinner time. All I can see is the finish line. Started, I gotta finish mine. It's get it time, anytime, hella long. I've been in line, I didn't mind it all. Wake and bake won't take a break at all. That's on my word, my boss. Naming lights, gon' have to pay me twice or pay me no mind, and I don't mind it all. My grind is grit, I am my job to inspire. I'm right behind, go to a line that's been fired by change for a time. I ain't get hired, second week kicked in, I probably won't get tired. Kevin Gates and Kevin Bacon, only 6 degrees of separation between me and the next level of elevation. Perseverance, the art of dedication. What now? We on the chase to the sundown. We on the chase to the sun up. What's up? Leading the line when we run up. Chasing, chasing, chasing. Every day we chasing, chasing, chasing. No time to be wasted.
Yeah, all right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Just a little love there from, of course, our IRL crew there with that great little video that we got there. We're just going to go check on our podium interviews here. We've got Johnny B and Bloxam as I suspected we would see here. Fluka, I'm not sure if we'll talk to Fluka or not, but was our third place driver. So in the meantime, we will, of course, chat with our second and first place drivers. Fluka hasn't been for interviews all season, so I'm not expecting to see Fluka here today, but yeah, could surprise us. So just going to turn some audio on for all you great fans at home watching so you can hear your drivers talk. And I'm just going to turn them up a little bit here. There we go. All right, so we're going to start with, the second place driver, MX Bloxam. Interesting race for this driver today. Qualified second in the grid. Something happened in the first turn. Things got spun a little upside down for a little bit. He led a large part of the race, and then at the end, just not quite having enough or giving the race lead to Johnny B. But nonetheless, second place finish here, and of course, both these drivers chasing Critico in the point standings here, and that was only separated by 1 point coming into round 4. So MX Bloxam and Johnny B definitely adding some points over Critico here on this race today. So a pretty non-eventful race for you for the most part here today on Father's Day here at Snetterton. So talk us through it. How was it out there today?
I don't even know. I'm just really not too happy with myself at the moment. I guess Johnny might have locked up going into turn 1. You know, it happens. I ain't even mad at him about it. It's all good. I screwed myself there at the end, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we didn't see the change for position there, but I mean, still second place finish. I mean, you're going to be nipping right there in points heading into round 5 as well. So, I mean, it's not all for nothing as far as that goes. But I mean, race car drivers are passionate, obviously, and we like to win. So I totally understand where some frustration comes in. But lots of blue flag traffic here today too. Again, around a tough racetrack. So I guess a couple questions here. How was getting around the blue flag traffic here today, and what makes this track so difficult?
I really didn't deal with a whole lot of blue flag traffic. I think I dealt with maybe 2 or 3 of them, and I dealt with some guys after I'd already made my pit stop. But none of that was really that tough. It's just I hit a curb wrong there at the end and spun, and did it twice, same corner. So. It is what it is. I'll take it and be happy with it. I just know every point right now is going to count in this championship. So losing 1 or 2 points here, not real happy with myself about it. But great race by Johnny. He got himself back up there and put himself in contention. So great win by him.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was a great drive by John today here, but I mean, still not taken away from you. You still had a great drive. Put yourself in second place there, and it's a very flat racetrack here. I've noticed. I haven't had the chance to really run laps around this particular racetrack yet, but it's a very flat racetrack. There's not a lot of banking. It looks like in the corners. Does that make it quite difficult to get these cars to rotate through the corners here on the racetrack?
It does, and there's some corners to where you kind of crest a hill mid corner and stuff also, and you really have to get the slip angle just right in these cars to get around these turns and carry speed. So you're on the edge the whole time on this track. I'm not the biggest fan of this track, but at the same time, it's tough. It makes it difficult on you.
Absolutely, and it definitely looked like some of the racers just making uncharacteristic mistakes, and that might have just been a small part of it. Is not just having that extra little bit of help in the banking of the corner to help the car rotate or whatever the case may be. But great racing from you here again today, and I mean a strong finish nonetheless. You still have 4 rounds left, lots of time to continue to make that charge up on top of the championship point standings, and well, I know that you're a competitor. I know you definitely would love to be standing at the top of that at the end of the season, but you definitely got a fight, I think, on your hands here between yourself and Johnny B, and most likely Critico if he rebounds back here next round as well. So, looking forward to the last half of the season.
I am a lot of good tracks. I'm glad to get some of these tracks out of the way here, so we can get to the good ones. Ready to go next week?
Absolutely. Well, I guess with that being said, happy Father's Day to start with, and anything you want to add, and any shout outs or thank yous you want to toss out there?
Um, Thanks to the admin crew again. Every week y'all put this race on. They 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 give us a place to race. It's great. Thanks to Johnny, man, for super pushing me. Every week he pushes me. He's my teammate, man. It's kind of hard to root against him. I'm happy for him winning. So, man, congrats, Johnny.
Cheers. Well, we appreciate you, and a long, hard fought day of racing, and we're going to let you get back with that crew and enjoy that second place finish, and congratulations.
Thanks, man. Thanks for the broadcast. Thanks for all you do for us.
Hey, cheers. We appreciate you guys. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, MX Bloxham always has. He's a pretty humbled racer, and he's an honest racer. I mean, he's going to tell you how it is and how he feels about his particular day on the racetrack, and that's no stranger there. So, we love to see that, and it's just great interviews from the drivers as always. So let's have a little chat with Johnny B. This guy, he is our defending champion from the last GT3 series as well, coming out of the spring. So looking to repeat this season. It started off great qualifying run. You Bloxham Critical really battling it out for that pole position. You managed to snag that pole position, and I mean everything just went wrong at the beginning of the race. You and Critical ended up being in the back of the pack. You make an early pit stop with a little bit of strategy. Let's start there. The early pit stop. You had that moment. You're in the back of the pack. You're trying to figure out how now it is that you're going to make your way back up and fight for as many points as you can here today. It was the early pit stop a change strategy due to how the race started, or was that a planned strategy just to try and get yourself in open, clean air for the early part of the race?
Well, the reason for the strategy was 100% that it was get clean air, but that was not the starting strategy. We had a mandatory pit stop where we had to take tires, so the plan was ideally be first or second at that point, halfway through the race, come in and kind of split the difference. But I did some bonehead stuff going into turn one and just grabbed the brakes a little too hard, locked them up in the rears and slid. And I collected Critical with me. I collected MX, although he seemed to get away without too many difficulties. But at that point, I think it dropped me back to like 12th. That was my best option there to pit. It's tough to pass at Snetterton. So it was getting the pit. I had a little bit of rear end damage that I needed to fix anyways. And I knew I could bang in the lap times to at least make up the distance a hell of a lot quicker than I would with a damaged car actually passing the folks. So that's the move I I went with it and it worked out. I anticipated being able to get back to a podium. I thought second was achievable. I got extremely lucky today with MX's mishaps because he's so fast. Even when I kind of closed the gap on him at first, where I was back about 3 or 4 seconds. It was just I might pick up a tenth and then I would lose two. Pick one up, lose it right back. He's incredibly fast. So I was very fortunate. But yeah, that pit stop was not planned. It was an audible for sure.
Absolutely. And I mean, sometimes in racing that happens, right? You got to alter the strategy based on the situation you're dealt with or the situation at hand. So, we assume that's exactly what it was. We've seen Semestri pit just a lap before you, and I don't know if that driver actually had damage. I think that might have just been a straight strategy call from that driver, probably thinking much of the same thing: get out in some clean air, get out of the battle, get out of the dirty air, and try to knock out some lap times. But in your case, it worked out really good for you. You just fought your way through the field. I mean, did you have to battle your way a lot through the field, or was it just kind of patience and wait for all these drivers that still needed to make that required pit stop? Just let them pit and just continue to pass through as they're making their pit stops. I mean, how was, the big climb back through the field for you throughout the mid part of the race there?
I picked up a couple spots after the incident. I think I was able to pick up 2 or 3, but the back end was tough to handle. I had some diffuser damage, it felt like. So I just didn't have the back end there. And then after the pit stop, most of the work I did passing people was while they were making their stops. I think I only had 2 or 3 cars I passed on track. And fortunately for them, or fortunately for me, unfortunately for them, those passes were relatively easy because they made, late braking and locked up in the entrance to a couple corners, and I was able to take the inside and kind of get away uncontested. So that was probably the luckiest all around race I've had, and I really didn't have business winning it. I'm happy to take it, but I kind of feel like I stole something right there, to be honest.
Well, I mean, racing is racing. I mean, drivers make mistakes, things happen. We had a pretty big difference of skill levels on the tracks. We had pro drivers, pro ams, rookies. We had a little bit of everything on the racetrack here today too. So, that does play in a little bit to how a race engineers itself, I guess, when you have multi-class divisions on the racetrack together as well. The pit stops, I kind of assumed you probably were picking up a lot of them just due to the pit stops there, and of course, obviously, I mean, with the incredible pace that you proved you had in qualifying, I mean, if there's a driver of the day award, clearly you'd be walking home with a whole armful of trophies here today if that were the case, for sure, coming from basically back of the pack back up to win the race right at the end. So last 3 minute dash and find yourself on the top of the podium on Father's Day. I mean, does it get much better than that?
No, I'm extremely happy with the win. Like I said, I thought my ceiling was probably second place after the incident, and I had nobody to blame but myself for that. It was a bonehead move going in, and part of it is too. If I had anybody besides MX, blocks him on my outside, I probably don't try to hustle into that corner and make that mistake. Right? Last race started the same exact 1-2, and he got the jump on me, and I fell back and ended up finishing third. And I wasn't, looking to have that happen again. And he ended up, giving out a turn one in front of me, just in a very different way this time. So, yeah, all the credit to him for making me have to, try to do something that didn't work. So he's tough, man. He's tough. Anytime I can get a step higher than him, I'm extremely happy about it.
Absolutely, and we've seen lots of drivers having really good finishes here today that have been struggling a little bit early on in the season as well. So with the small field today, lots of big points up for grab in the standings. So definitely going to shake the top 10 up here a little bit today. And with Critical not having quite as great as a recovery as yourself did, you're gonna have a little bit of a gap on Critical now. I mean, you still got blocks. I'm right there nipping at the heels, waiting to take it, opportunity on your first big mistake, so to speak. But you still got in the back of your mind. You still got Critical down there, only a few points in behind. I mean, the driver's quick. Clearly, he's very fast. Worried that he can make the charge back up and take that back away again?
Oh, of course. I mean, he's quick. He's very quick. And he's consistent. He knows where to place the car. I got a very good lesson on what he's capable of last week, as I, got to look at his back bumper for the last 7, 8, 9 minutes of the race. So, yeah, anything's possible, especially these last couple tracks we go to. Looks like Spa, I think, is one, Zandvoort's one, Monza's one. They're good tracks for me, but especially at like Zandvoort, things can go wrong and go wrong in a hurry. So anything's possible, and I have to keep charging.
Absolutely, and with that track list in mind, also 3 areas of the world that are, not shy of seeing rain on the racetracks either as well. So that always in the back of the mind of the racers as race day approaches on some of these tracks around the world as well. And the 3 tracks that you just knocked out on the list are definitely 3 of those tracks that really the weather is quite unpredictable. So, how do you plan for that? You just kind of test and tune for every condition and hope you've got enough information to take whatever the weather throws at you.
Yeah, for the most part, and we get a little bit of a heads up on what the possible weather is. We never know exactly, but we have a pretty decent idea of what we might expect. So if there's rain in the forecast, you'll definitely be trying to get some wet setups dialed in and go from there because it's that can be the equalizer, and it's not exactly my strongest suit. Audi struggles a bit in the rain. So dry races would be preferable down the stretch, but if it rains, and we'll take them as they come.
Well, absolutely, and honestly, and well said there as well. Happy Father's Day to yourself as well. And I guess with that being said, any final remarks and any shout outs and thank yous you want to toss out there today?
Yeah, shout out to the Edmund team as always for putting on a good race. I do want to apologize to anybody in the field that I kind of caught up at the beginning, and then may not have been as fortunate as I was to be able to work their way back through. Uncharacteristic for me to do something like that. So anybody I caught up, I apologize. Yeah, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, like myself. And it's a beautiful day, and hopefully everybody got to race today. That was a father that wanted to because it's not easy, and they deserve it. So
Absolutely, and you guys, put on the final show for all the dads out there today too. So there's always that coming from the drivers. But congratulations to all 17 of our drivers in the grid here today. Tough racing at Snetterton, pretty flat racetrack, not a whole lot going on for it as far as race car advantage goes here. It really does come down to these drivers and the skill they have behind the wheel of their cars. And today it was Fluka, MX Bloxham, and our man Johnny B standing on the podium here this week. So stay tuned next week for round 5 to see what we have in store for everybody. We appreciate you, Johnny B, and we'll let you get back to your team and your family as well, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Do the same, and thank you for being on the call as always. You do a great job.
Hey, appreciate you, my guy. We appreciate you. All right, chat. What else can we say from there? That was a small grid today. Obviously, Father's Day. Not too surprised to see small grid here today, but did not take away that the racing was still spectacular. We've seen some crazy stuff here today. We've seen a big incident in turn 1. We've seen 2 of the 3 race leaders go all the way to the back of the pack, and we've seen both those drivers drive back through the pack. However, one of them a little further back through the pack, the one of them being Johnny B, coming back from 12th or 13th position after that spin in turn 1, all the way back up to take a race win in the last couple laps there, as MX Bloxham just making a couple of mistakes and costing him the top of the podium here today. And Fluka just with a solid drive. Fluka's been there all season, has been racing great all season, finds himself and that Ferrari in the bottom step here today, and really starting to put some pressure up in those standings towards the drivers up front as well. Very far from over this championship season. You heard it yourself from MX Bloxham and Johnny B, with the points being so close and the drivers being so tightly packed together this season. It really is every driver's championship to lose, and it is every driver's championship to take here this season here in the GT3 Summer Series. 4 rounds remain. We'll be back next weekend at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time, because that's like when we go live, and qualifying will start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here for round 5 of our GT3 Summer Series. I'm your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming, partnered with Coach Dave Academy and of course SimGrid, where all the registration is done for Infinite Racing League events here in North America and, of course, on the European side of things. That's right, you heard us correctly. We have North American and European style ACC PS5 console racing and Infinite Racing League, so both sides of the pond can have a little bit of fun. We appreciate y'all. Happy Father's Day. Remember, you all matter. It is June, which means it is Men's Mental Health Month. All our men out there, especially today, all our fathers out there today, this is your friendly man check. Are you okay? If you are not okay, my door is open. Talk to me. Let's talk you through it. Let's get you back on track. Men's mental health is a real thing, and we are affected just like every other human being when it comes to emotion and life as well. I can honestly say, as a man, that for the first time in probably almost a year, my mental health is finally in the right place. We're feeling good, we're vibing, everything is in the right direction, and that's only because I've kept a close, tight support group around me and a very great community around me, and rely on those things. So do much of the same thing. You're not alone out there, man. Remember, if you're feeling down, you need somebody to talk to, you need to sort something out, reach out to somebody. Keep that close, tight support group around you, because that tight-knit, close support group is just going to be what's going to help get you through whatever it is that you're going through. We love you. On behalf of GT45 Gaming and the Infinite Racing League, you all matter. Stay winning and have an absolutely fantastic rest of your weekend. We'll see you soon.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up